It's hard to believe that you're only 18 years old and you've been told you'll spend the rest of your life in this facility.
What I believe is it's possible that I could be here the rest of my life. I'm working on my appeal to this day. But you say me 18, there's people here 16 years old with natural lives. 17. That ain't having established nothing in the world, but growing up. And they stuck in here with a natural life, It needs to change. Something has to change.
There's some mothers out there that their sons may be buried, and sometimes I feel like that with Corey, that it's a part of me, I feel like, because he's so much of him being so much taken away from him, from being incarcerated for the rest of his life.
Sometimes you feel like he's dead?
Well, a part of him, because he's out, he's not out here in the real world like he would say it, and he's missing out on a whole lot.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? I appreciate you rocking with your boy on Correct the Felon podcast. I am the infamous one, G Phrase, the big deal. Inspires the block on Twitter and IG, and all of that other good stuff. I'm hoping everybody's just having a fabulous day, because today is Super Bowl Sunday. And you can catch this live right now on Libre TV. But if not, you're not watching Libre TV, you will be able to catch the replay. And so, just check in with your boy. Also, too, this is available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcast, the audio version. And, just rock with your boy. And I'm about to really break something down because some things happen. Well, first, I should say this here. This Super Bowl Sunday. This is one reason I'm not going live at the regular time. But I've decided to make a prediction in the Super Bowl. And I'm going with my boy, Tom Brady. Like, I like Patrick Mahomes. I see O.J. Simpson rocking his jersey for Patrick Mahomes. But I'm just going with Tom Brady. You can't go against the GOAT. Plus, the boy went to Michigan. So, hey, gotta rock with him. So that's my prediction for the Super Bowl tonight. And I'm hoping everybody have a wonderful time. Keep it safe, keep it cordial, and keep it fun. What I want to talk about, though, is that I put a video up on Twitter 3 days ago. And it took off. All right? It took off. There were a lot of comments. There were a lot of retweets with comments. There were a lot of likes. And it had, mixed reviews. And I was kind of surprised a little bit by that, because what I was communicating was holding Democrats accountable, right, for the black vote. Like, for years, black people have voted for Democrats, and we've gotten nothing in return. And so it was my intention, why do we have to keep waiting? I saw so many executive orders happening, and I just was pissed off that nothing was pertaining to black people. Even the one executive order with the equality attached to it, that really had nothing to do with black people, right? It was very insignificant when it came to dealing with the issues of black people. But what I want to do for those who have not seen it, especially those in Listen Land that support me on iHeartRadio, that support me on Spotify and also Apple Podcasts, what I'm going to do is first play the video that I put up on Twitter, and then we'll get into some of the reactions, some of the questions that people had for me, and we'll go from there. But first, let me just play the video, so that people can understand the purpose and point of the podcast that I'm doing today. I really don't like to do straight out political podcasts on Correct the Felon. We have Purple Pill Politic for that, which is broadcast live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. But I just feel the need to really respond to some of the comments and some of the people regarding the post that I put on Twitter. So here is the initial video that I put up that got quite a few responses and mixed reviews. And then I'm going to go into why I did the video and stuff like that. So here is the actual video. What up, man? Listen, I had to do this short video because I had to get something off my chest. Like, I just saw earlier today that Joe Biden signed another executive order about immigration. That's fine, right? But I'm sick and tired of being last. Like, when in the hell are we going to be first? For once. Like, he even said it out of his own mouth at the acceptance speech that black people saved his campaign. Come on, man. Like, what's going on? Like, when are we going to be attended to? When you're in the midterms or when you're about to run for re-election? Like, what's going on? When are we going to get something? I'm tired of waiting, bro. I didn't watch all these executive orders come out. Nothing has been specific for black people. Like, I'm done waiting. Like, I voted for you. I voted for Ossoff. I voted for Warnock. I voted for Nakima Williams. I voted for these Democrats. Okay? I voted for them. Now, what I am saying is this here. I'm not ready to leave the Democratic Party because I don't feel welcome at the Republican Party. What I am saying is I'm ready to hold them to the fire because we're not getting a return on our investment. What is going on? Why do we have to keep waiting? I've heard that already. I was with that at first. But I keep seeing all this shit keep coming out with these executive orders for other people other than black people, man. And the equality bill had other people involved with it. I'm fine with that. They can get theirs too. But when are we going to be first? When our vote is going to mean something? I'm tired of it, right? So from this day forward, it's time to hold them accountable. Black people, we can't keep allowing this shit, man. Once again, we have to make our votes heard, our voice heard, our votes heard. And if we keep allowing this shit to happen, it's going to keep happening. Once again, we want tangibles. $20 bill, I wouldn't give a damn who owned it. So that was the video, okay, that I put up. And it got a lot of, like I say, mixed reviews. And that's fine. People can come in and comment and give their and voice their opinion on what I put up on social media because it's open to the public. Now, it's a lot to break down in that video, right? And I'm going to do it in a manner that I think is fitting, right? I'm not going to be pressured into responding the way that people think I should respond. I know why I put the video up. I know why I said what I said. So what I want to do now is just break down a few things, right? First, I'm going to talk about why I voted the way that I did this last election. Okay? Personally, Joe Biden was not my choice. I didn't vote for Joe Biden in the midterms. I didn't even look at him. I had other candidates in mind, and during the not the midterms, but the when you vote to see who's going to get the nomination. I'm having a mind fart on that process, but it's okay. But when Joe Biden got the nomination, it was something that made me vote for him in the general election. And it was what he said. I recently was talking to Coach Felicia on Twitter. Shout out Coach Felicia. And I was explaining to her that in the initial beginning, when we looking at candidates for office, we can only go off what they say. Until they get in office, then we look at what they're going to do. And from that point on, we hold them accountable. So when I was watching after Joe Biden had got the nomination, something in me, said, okay, I think this is a perfect opportunity for black people to get something. Because keep in mind, like, I live in a black district, and it votes overwhelmingly Democratic. Like, even when I lived in Flint, Michigan, I'm down here in Atlanta now, my city is an overwhelmingly Democratic stronghold. And we continuously to vote Democratic all the time. And I'm not naive to where I live at, right? I don't live in a predominantly conservative or Republican district. And for myself, I don't tend to vote, majority what I want, right? I vote based on the area or the districts that I'm living in. What do these people need? Because I feel like I'm going to be fine. I really do. I'm going to continue to find job opportunities. I'm going to continue to invest in my future. I'm going to continue to do stuff as you see across the screen, middlepassesmedia.com. That is my media company. Go check it out. I'm going to do something to secure my future. I'm not going to wait on a politician to come save me. So I understand that all too well. So what I normally do is keep in mind my community. I know my community is going to vote overwhelmingly democratically. So what I try to do is use my conscience to help my community. Once again, like I said, not me. I'm going to do okay. I've lived through multiple presidents. I've been around since Ronald Reagan, before Ronald Reagan, but first president I remember was Ronald Reagan, and my community has been the same. But something about this presidential cycle was different, and it was based on what Joe Biden said. Now I'm going to play what Joe Biden said to spark my interest to vote for him and not Donald Trump. So here's Joe Biden speaking directly to black people at the Democratic nomination when he accepted the Democratic nomination.
And especially for those moments when this campaign was at its lowest ebb, the African-American community stood up again for me. You've always had my back, and I'll have yours. I owe you. I owe you. I owe you everything.
That's Joe Biden speaking, right? He said that black people have always had his back. And he ended it by saying, I owe you. Now, that resonated with a lot of black people, a lot of black voters. Because for once, we've never been talked to directly, especially in a nomination speech, a nomination acceptance speech. So that kind of resonated with me, right? And so I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this may be an opportunity for black people to finally get something. Like, seriously, finally get something. And I'm like, okay, so when I stepped inside that voting booth on election day, I punched the ticket for Joe Biden. Down here in Georgia, I saw another opportunity because we live in a reality where in D.C., whoever controls the majority controls the agenda. Like, we're past that point of working together. This past when Trump was in office, we saw how he voted based on his agenda because he had the majority. He did the tax cuts. He did the criminal justice reform on the federal level. That's fine. So we live in a society, once again, that we don't care for bipartisanship. We only care about whoever controls the majority. And so that's one reason why, the overwhelming reason why I decided to give this one last shot. That's what it is. It's one last shot. And in my video, I got tired of seeing things come out that was not pertaining to black people. Now, another thing that I want to do is I want to play Trump speaking directly to black people. because I think this is important that we have context in these candidates. Okay, now keep in mind the video that I'm about to play is Donald Trump speaking during the 2016 election when him and Hillary Clinton ran, and it was kind of powerful. So let me play this, and I'm gonna give you some more context to it.
Group in America has been more harmed by Hillary Clinton's policies than African Americans. No group. If Hillary Clinton's goal was to inflict pain on the African American community, she could not have done a better job. It's a disgrace. Tonight, I'm asking for the vote of every single African American citizen in this country who wants to see a better future. Look how much African American communities have suffered under Democratic control. To those I say the following: what do you have to lose by trying something new like Trump? What do you have to lose? I say it again, what do you have to lose? Look, what do you have to lose? You're living in poverty, your schools are no good, you have no jobs, 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose? America must reject the bigotry of...
Now, that was powerful. I mean, that was really, really powerful. And when he first said that, I thought about that, like, what do I have to lose? And my conclusion was nothing. Excuse me. Nothing to lose. Regardless of which way I vote, I have nothing to lose. And to be honest with you, I didn't even vote in the 2016 election. That's why I never complained about Donald Trump. This is why I never was a bandwagoner for Hillary Clinton. I didn't like Hillary Clinton. I didn't like Trump either. I'm be honest with you. I didn't like neither one. But he said, what do you have to lose? And once again, my conclusion was nothing, regardless of how I vote. But this time around, once again, like I said, I saw something different. I saw that and felt that and thought that, and still do think that we can get something tangible for our vote. Because Joe Biden was almost out of there until he went to South Carolina and Jim Clyburn boosted his campaign to where he ultimately won the nomination. So that is a little bit on why I voted the way I voted, because really I consider myself an independent. But if you are a registered independent, you're limited to the access on the ballot. So you have to pick either Republican or Democrat, right? You have to do one or the other. If you're a registered independent, you're limited to who you can vote for. And especially in the general election, also in the midterms, and on state and local levels. So this is why I register as a Democrat. Not that I agree with them, not that I want to be here, right? Not that I support everything about the Democratic Party. You know, my teacher, who I consider as my teacher, Sonny Johnson, right? She don't look at me in a crazy way because I register as a Democratic voter. What she teaches me is to hold them accountable and to reject socialism. Now, look at that. People think that black people are socialists by nature. No, we're conservative by nature, right? We don't want nothing given to us. We have the skills and the capabilities to do for ourselves if given the opportunity, if given the choice. And so this is why I love Sonny Johnson. Shout out to Sonny Johnson. Love you, sis. You're one of the best. And she gives us this information on what we need to do, because she understands that the black community is not going to flip overnight. And that leads me to another part of the video when I said that I don't feel comfortable just switching over to the Republican Party. And I'm going to explain to you why I don't. But first, what I want to do is put up some of the responses of tweets that people said to me about, about why, not feeling comfortable joining the Republican Party, right? I mean, there was some crazy stuff. So this first one that I'm about to put up, and I'm also going to read it. I'm not going to say the person's name because I don't think that they're worthy of that kind of attention. But what I will do is just read the tweet. And so this person says to me on Twitter, "You are a real dumbass. This clown really believes Democrats care about black people." Well, bro, I'm just going to put it like that. He is a black man. No, first and foremost, I'm not a clown. I'm a husband. I'm a father, right? I'm a black man. I'm God-fearing. I'm a child of God. I'm not a clown. I'm not a dumbass. But if you want to refer to me, that's fine, because I know I'll never see you in society. I know I never run across you, and you wouldn't dare say that to my face, because I'd knock your jaw loose if you fucking did. All right? So I'm going to leave it like that. But I don't believe that the Democrats love black people. I don't believe that. Not for one bit. Love has nothing to do with it. Or care. Right? It has nothing to do with it. Just give us what you owe us. Tangibles. Something that we're going to benefit from. Something that we can see. Something that we can touch. Something that we can say, okay, my vote paid off. So, dude, understand something, right? And I'm speaking directly to you. You know who you are, because I'm pretty sure you'll see this once I put it up on Twitter, right? Get your shit together. Get your facts together before you try to come at somebody about how they vote. For one, isn't that American? You have the freedom to vote how you want to vote and do what you want to do, pretty much. So why isn't it that you're considered a dumbass or a clown when you differ from somebody else? Like I said, I think it's funny, right? That people even have the audacity to come at you like that. So another one I want to put up, right? I want to put up some more stuff, okay? Because these responses were great, and I'm just gonna continue to read them. This is from my brother Jeff, right? Somebody who will be getting together soon, and I'll be on his podcast to discuss this video also a little bit more in depth. But Jeff said, if the GOP were smart, it would be pouncing on the sentiment expressed in this video and using it to their advantage. The fact that black folks vote Democratic does not mean they love Democrats. They just don't feel welcome on the right. And that's fact. The reason why we don't feel welcome on the right is because on the surface, I'm going to put it like that, and I'll be honest with you. On the surface, it seems like a white man's country club. That's what it does. That's the energy and the perception that we get, right? If you go down the line of things that affects black people, especially in the black community, all right, Republicans and the GOP do not stand up for us. A few may, but the overwhelming majority don't. For example, when you deal with police brutality, right, you don't see conservatives stepping up for black people. First thing that come out their mouths or off their Twitter fingers is back to blue. Or he must have had to done something. Or first, and then once that something happens, they pull up his criminal record. See, this justifies it. It's like, how can we feel included in a party that the minute something happens, you're looking at us as a criminal, or that it was justifiable? Why could it just been shit? This unarmed black man was killed by the police, and that's wrong. That's like the number one issue. Because don't get it twisted, we love wealth. We love small government, right? We like and love low taxation. Like these principles we can get behind. But every time something happens to a black man, especially an unarmed black man with the police, the first thing that white conservatives and white Republicans love to do is to back the police. And that's just something we cannot align with. We know our experiences with the police. We're not fabricating this. We're not making this up. I know what it's like to be pulled over unjustly by the police. I've been dealing with it all my life. I've been in the black community all my life, and I don't see myself leaving no time soon. Even if I do, I'm going to go to a black suburb. So don't question us about when we telling you something is wrong. Now a lot of y'all getting it based on recent events that happened in the country, but it's a little bit too late for that. We tried to be your allies. We tried to get y'all to hear us, but you didn't want to hear us. And that's fine. So now don't come at me sideways when I say I don't feel comfortable in the Republican Party right now. No, it needs a new makeover. It needs some prominent black people there that can speak directly to the black experience to quarters and to get us to come over there. Until then, like my father used to always tell me, do not leave a job until you have another one lined up. Black people cannot leave the Democratic Party because we don't have the GOP lined up. We don't feel accepted. We don't feel welcome. We feel like we're not looked at as American citizens by those on the right. They don't want it to look like the Democratic Party. My opinion, my belief, you can challenge it. I don't give a shit. But that's what they want. They want to keep it white. They want to keep it predominantly white. They'll let a few over there, but they don't want it to be, a rainbow of colors in that party. So this is why, me personally, and I think I can speak on behalf of a lot of black people, especially in black communities, why we don't feel comfortable in the black community. I'll put up another one, and this is from, once again, Sonny Johnson. It was encouraging. She said, "Oh, Auntie is so proud of you," because she understands what I'm doing. She understands that, yes, this is where I casted my vote. So why shouldn't I hold them accountable? Right? I really feel like this is the time to demand something. And if not, either we switch or we don't show up at all. You can't give us the Harriet Tubman $20 bill. You can't give us Kamala Harris. You can't just give us stuff like that we really can't benefit from. Even with the Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill, I still have to go work for somebody. Or even if I'm self-employed, right? I'm still going to spend it. I don't care who's on there. So give us tangibles, okay? Now, what I want to do is just go into some of those tangibles that I deem necessary that will help the black community, okay? Now, I'm not going to go into a long laundry list of stuff like that, right? I'm just going to give you a few that I think that Joe Biden and the Democratic Party can do with the stroke of a pen. And we can see it immediately. Once again, these are just a couple of things, not a long laundry list. We know what time it is, but I'm just going to give you a few that I think can make an immediate impact in the black community. I believe that the federal government can allocate funds towards black youth. What do I mean by that? I believe that they can set aside millions, if not billions, for after-school programs and summer jobs. Let's start at the summer jobs first, okay? I believe that was a program that was something that when I was younger, growing up in the 80s, it was in existence. You don't see it too much more. But if they allocated these funds, this would happen. It would keep black teenagers and black youth off the streets. If they just directed those programs towards neighborhood cleanup, right? Cleaning up vacant lots, going into the community and fixing up and renovating vacant housings, cleaning up the streets. This is employment that black youth can have with the stroke of a pen. And then they give them something else to do, then run to the streets, run into the local drug dealers, get involved with crime. Because throughout the summer, they'll have something to do. Instead of just sitting at home, being bored, playing video games, and allowing their idle time to become the devil's playground. Also, too, I think that the federal government, with the stroke of a pen, can, and Joe Biden, can invest in community centers to where they can set up programs in these community centers that deals with financial literacy, that deals with STEM research, that deals with coding, things that young people like, even esports. Because young people like to be on their video games. But these after-school programs could be something that can keep them off the streets. So why wouldn't we demand this? This is something, like I said, that can be immediately done from Joe Biden and the federal government. They have funds for everything else. Why not funds for black youth, specifically in black, impoverished, low-income areas? Like, once again, I'll remind everybody, I'm from Flint, Michigan. I lived there mostly all my life. The past 6 years, I've been down here in Atlanta. This could help out a lot. Another thing that we can do is, when it comes to, since people love to throw up criminal justice reform, which I believe is a good thing, I can't knock it, but it has a very minimum impact once the ex-con is back into society. Yeah, they let a lot of people go. Salute to Donald Trump for that. He gets credit for that. But nothing is in place for the ex-con once he touches society. Like, I can go down a long laundry list of things that can be done, right? Or how, when ex-felons get out of prison, how there are so many obstacles in their path for their success. But one thing that I'll throw up is this here on the screen, right? Let's deal with federal bonding. Since federal bonding is something that a lot of people don't know nothing about, what if the federal government extended this program? Well, first, let me show you what federal bonding is, okay? Federal bonding is a federal bond. What is federal bonding? It is a unique tool to help a job applicant obtain and maintain employment. The federal program issues fidelity bonds and is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor. Now, I'm not going to go over everything. I'm just going to explain to you a little bit what it is. That it's like insurance, okay, for employers if they hire somebody that they may deem as high risk or a convicted felon. All right. What it does, it's supposed to guarantee employment for people coming back into society. Like, you can do your research on it. It's out there. All you gotta do is Google it, and you can get more in tune to what federal bonding is. So, with that, what if the federal government, with the stroke of a pen, extended that program to housing? Sounds good, doesn't it? Since we're so concerned about criminal justice reform, this is one aspect of it. That the federal government can extend that program, not only to employers, but to property managers. Because right now in America, if you have a felony conviction, you cannot get housing. Now, how is that going to go well for our society if you're somebody that just got out of prison, or if you've been convicted of a felony, you can't get housing? What is this person supposed to do? Like, what are their options? It's the streets, right? You follow me? Because even employment is really going to be hard to find. You can find it, right? But you have a better shot if you're federally bonded. So once again, I think that the federal government, for that reason alone, can help secure ex-cons or ex-offenders with housing. Why should somebody be discriminated against because they got a felony conviction? It's kind of deep. Just imagine if that was you. Just imagine if you had to live that kind of life, right? You made a mistake once in your life, and now for the rest of your life, you can't rent a place to live, right? You're already having a hard time with employment, but let's say you find decent employment, and you have the money to put down for the first month's rent. You have the money for rent, your security deposit, all that stuff. But people tell you no because you have a felony conviction. Like, that's some real deep shit. So now you're forced to the streets, or you're forced to live with someone. You're forced to find a woman who has decent credit and who's never been in trouble to live with her. And that can go wrong at any minute. She can decide to put your ass out, and then what? You're back with Big Mama? Big Mama only gonna tolerate it so long once if you're an adult. But those are just a couple of little things, right? We also can, for the stroke of a pen, through HUD, is to target black people for home ownership. They have the resources and the capability to do things like this. right? Give tax incentives, give tax credits. They also can, with the stroke of a pen, encourage states and cities to hire more felons. Right? Give them tax credits like the one deal that was set up in New York with the Amazon headquarters, but because they could not get the tax breaks that they wanted, they decided to bail on that project. But why not? Why not make that an incentive? You know what happens if we do that? Recidivism rates go down, right? Our societies are safer. People are cleaning their lives up, and they want to do better. If the opportunity's there, they will do better. So those are just a couple. Like I said, I can keep going down the line, about things that can be done immediately. Like I can talk about reparations. That's the number one really topic. But I understand that is through legislation. And, I'll allow that conversation to continually evolve. I have no problem engaging in it. But I just wanted to deal with some things that can immediately be done. Now, another thing that I want to talk about, and it's kind of reverting back to what I did in the beginning, is why I came out with the video, right? I came out with the video because I wanted black people to hold Democrats accountable for this vote. Yeah, it's because of us that John Ossoff is in office. It's because of black people that Reverend Warnock is in office, especially down here in Georgia. It's because of us that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is president and vice president. Nakima Williams, we voted for you. Then Angela Stanton King. Y'all owe us. And it's time that y'all pay up. But I want somebody else to speak to y'all. Because I believe that this individual has had the most impact in my life as a black man. And I'm speaking none other than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Okay? I'm going to play this video, and then I'll follow up with a little bit more information on why I'm putting this video up and why I feel like it's connected to the video that I put up on Twitter.
Look how much we gave to the Democratic Party. We've always given them our best shot, but we never got what we deserved. And Mr. Joe Biden has wanted to be president since he first entered Congress. His desire was to be president. He tried a few times and lost. He was giving it up until Charlottesville, Virginia, and the Nazis and the haters of Jews came out, and somebody got run over with a car, and he decided he'd get back in the race. And when he got back in the race, people laughed. Laughed because he was too old. Laughed because he's the oldest man to ever become president of the United States. But when he went to South Carolina, our brother, the great brother who helped him take his campaign up out of the doldrums. You know who I'm talking about. Congressman Clyburn. And from that day, his campaign kept going up, 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 up. And now, our people wanted Mr. Trump out of there. I have never seen black people talk about a white president like our people talked about Mr. Trump. I heard my beautiful sister, Maxine Waters, at the funeral of Dick Gregory. That thing over there called him a thing. And the man, when he became president, our brother from Georgia, the one who just passed away recently, John Lewis, didn't even recognize him. Said he's illegitimate. Right? Do you remember that? Y'all remember that? You can check it out. He wasn't legitimate. And then Busta Rhymes came out at a rap with a gun. Was it Busta? Snoop. Snoop shot the gun at him, and Busta called him the Orange Man. And Trump called him Sleepy Joe.
Now, that was my leader teaching God, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So, with that, and I support the Nation of Islam 10 toes down, right? If I have a religion, that is my religion, the Nation of Islam. And for those that know that the Nation of Islam is the largest black conservative organization in America, right? So I played that because I felt there was the need for black people to hear that, right? Because what he was saying is that black people hated Trump so much, they just wanted him out of there. They didn't give a damn who was running against him. They wanted him out of there. And now that black people have accomplished that goal, we can't go to sleep. We can't just fall back and say, okay, wash our hands. Job done. Nah, that can't be the thinking. That can't be the idea or the ideology. Because if not, if that is, I should say, then we won't get a return on our investment for getting rid of Trump. Black people wanted him gone. Black people didn't like him. Especially the overwhelming majority of black people. Of course, you have black people that voted for Trump, and black people still support him, which is fine. It's okay with me. But my thing is this here, we can't go to sleep. Black people accomplish something. Now don't fall asleep, because right now news ratings are down dramatically. I'm not saying that that's a good thing, because during Trump's presidency, black people was woke. Black people was paying attention. But now that he's gone, now that he's in Mar-a-Lago, down there in Florida playing golf and living a life of a civilian, we can't fall asleep. We can't allow that to be the mission, right? Because we won't get nothing in return for our investment if we don't hold these Democratic politicians to the fire. And like I said in my video, they're on the clock. We shouldn't give them 2 years. We should give them 100 days max. Because like I said, at one point in time, I was willing to just sit back and wait until I just started seeing all this shit come out for everybody else. And it pissed me off. Like, we have to be first. We have to demand now. Not later. Not in the future. Now. What's wrong with it? Why is this a problem? I haven't seen some people, that I rock with on Twitter saying we should give the man more time. No. That's the wrong thinking, in my opinion. Now is the time to get what we deserve. It isn't later. Because if we continue to wait, we may not get shit in return as a whole. I mean, I'll throw it out there. The Platinum Plan came at the end of Trump's term. He could have done it in the beginning. I don't know his reasoning behind that, so I'm not going to judge him on that. But from a political standpoint, it was to continue to court the black vote. All right? So we got to get ours now. We can't wait. We got to stop all that shit. Let's stop waiting. All right? I'm going to throw up a couple more Twitter comments, and then I'm going to end this podcast so that y'all can, get to the Super Bowl. But it's just a couple I just want to break down, okay? Especially into what I was just saying. This tweet here, right, says, what makes you uncomfortable what makes you uncomfortable about Republicans? Ask this question. I kind of responded to that. Once again, as I said, I feel like it's an old man's white country club, and that, black people really are not excluded, except with the exception of a few. This other one says, not ready to leave, then don't complain. It will continue to be the same. I'm not complaining. I'm just holding politicians to the fire. If you don't understand the difference between complaining and accountability, then that's up to you. Because, you need to do more research and become educated on what black people deserve. I'm not saying what black people want. I'm saying what black people deserve. And we deserve more than what we've gotten. So, in a nutshell, right? And not going too deep, that is my explanation for the tweet that I put up. You can continue to hit me up. I'll respond to a few. I'm not going to respond to crazies. Like, if you can't engage with me in constructive conversation, then you'll just be a ghost to me. I won't even see you. I won't even respond. But in the meantime, everybody, I appreciate your support. Go get you some Middle Passage Media merch, middlepassagemedia.com. That is my media company where I put up information pertaining to everybody, blogs. Also on there, check us out at Libre TV, because this right now, this is where you can get it at, right? Also, too, like I said, subscribe, like, and comment to all the audio formats. I appreciate y'all. Be sure to check us out. Me and my boy Saul G, my brother from another mother, every Monday at 7 p.m. for the Brown Paper Bag Podcast, and also every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for the Purple Pill Politics. And I know I'm about to get this wrong. Every Saturday at 7, the Comic Kanye, or comic some shit like that, for his thing that he do. And once again, next week we'll be live right here, 7 p.m. every Sunday, Correct the Felon Podcast. So, with that being said, people, I appreciate everything. And I want y'all to have a blessed day on purpose, man. Hey, drink a little beer tonight. Watch the Super Bowl. Do it safe. Use intellect and logic whenever you're dealing with things. And we'll see y'all next Sunday. Have a blessed day on purpose.